welcome back to Max Reaction. How are you doing today on this Wednesday? Are you doing good? I hope you are. I am. Anyway, we're going to react to Overly Sarcastic Productions. I've only ever reacted to one of their videos, and it was legit great. I don't know why it's taking so long to react to more, but I plan on reacting to more because you learn things. You learn things in their animation and their stories, and knowledge is power. So let's go ahead and react to them. This one's called Legend Summarized, Underworld Myths. So we're going to learn about some myths. I don't know too much about this type of stuff. I do know Underworld's like where everybody's dead, probably. But I don't know much about the legends. So let's go ahead and watch, react, and we'll comment afterwards. I'll comment you, you comment me. What do you think? Let's go ahead and get down into it.
All right, everybody, listen up because today we're talking about the underworld. So the first question is, what is the underworld? I promise this gets smarter from here on out. Traditionally, it's a place where all the dead dudes hang out, and this concept is very old.
I was right.
It makes sense because it's answering a very old question: what happens when we die? Now, most cultures
we go to the underworld, or heaven, or
rewards of various kinds, an extension of living existence based on maintenance by still living relatives, etc.
Right.
But despite this wild variation in tone, there's only one real reason the underworld ever appears.
Why?
It's a location in popular culture and mythology, and that's when someone goes down there to get someone back. Now, this is a story that plays out in tons of cultures all over the world, with varying degrees of success for all parties involved. In general, it follows the formula of person A likes person B dies or otherwise ends up in the underworld, and person A scoots down there in order to rescue them. So today we're going to be looking...
Hold up! I don't know if I want to scoot down there to the underworld, because if I scoot down there to the underworld, does that mean I'm dead too? I don't know if I want to do that just yet. You know what I'm saying? If you're in the underworld, can you make it to the underworld and still be alive? That's my question. I don't know if they answer, but let's keep on going.
With these stories and comparing how well it worked out for everybody.
Babylonia.
Let's start off with a very old myth, maybe 4,000 years old, about the Babylonian goddess Ishtar. Now, Ishtar is a 4-star badass goddess of a variety of subjects, but most notably love, fertility, and war. So
she makes babies and has war?
Tammuz, and he ended up dead. She tried to have a romance with Gilgamesh, but he rejected her. So Ishtar's feeling pretty down about everything and decides, screw it, she's heading to the underworld to hang out with her dead husband.
I don't know if that's a good idea.
She busts her way into the afterlife, going through 7 gates, and in each gate, she has to give up a personal accoutrement in the form of her clothing.
No!
Strip diet.
You gotta get naked to go to the underworld?
But when she gets there, she learns that she can't see her husband because the underworld
that sucks.
is, for dead people. You don't just get to hang out there and
right
up like you do in, well, a lot of other mythologies. I guess the Babylonians were a little more depressed about the whole thing. So
apparently.
She can't see her husband. Ishtar tries to leave. But lesson number 1 of the underworld is that it's a lot easier to get in.
Oh, crap.
And even Ishtar can't just bash her way back to the land of the living. So Ereshkigal, the queen of the dead, thoroughly unhappy with Ishtar crashing her pad, unleashes 60 diseases on her and imprisons her in her palace. But wait, you might say, I thought she was going to rescue her boyfriend. What about the formula? Well, joke's on you. This story doesn't quite follow the formula I established.
Could you imagine 60 diseases released on you at the same time? Who's going to survive that? It's going to take a god to survive that. Because none of us are going to survive that. I don't care what the diseases are. It's not worth it. Remember what they said. It's easier to get there than it is to get out. So that's one thing that we cannot forget.
I'm such a reliable narrator. No, see, now that Ishtar's gotten herself locked up in the underworld, she's the one who needs to be rescued. So Ea, a big smart ocean god, sometimes known as Enki, catches wind of the fact that Ishtar's gotten herself stuck in the underworld, and as a result, because she's a goddess of fertility, nothing, fertile is happening on Earth.
That's gonna suck.
This gender-ambiguous individual, Asu-Shun-Namir, to go down there and rescue her. So Asu-Shun-Namir pops down into the underworld and, after charming Ereshkigal with their ambiguously gendered wiles, asks her to show them some of the water of life, which she does. So Asu-Shun-Namir casually sprinkles some of that magic life water on Ishtar, who is immediately restored to full HP and starts sprinting for the exit. Unfortunately, Ereshkigal finds this highly offensive and curses Asu-Shun-Namir and everyone like them to live in the shadows and be outcast from society.
Oh, that sucks.
The surface and Ishtar learns about this curse, she's like, wow, that bites.
That does suck.
I don't know. Have the gift of healing and prophecy, I guess? Does that help? Okay, so the lesson of this this particular legend is, if you're gender non-binary, you're magic, Ishtar loves you, and even the Queen of Hell thinks you're hot. Side note, is anyone else finding it a little sketchy that this 4,000-year-old legend has more queer representation than most modern television? So next up is a pretty well-known Egyptian myth. If you've ever studied Egyptian mythology, you already know this one. Now, Egyptian mythology is very convoluted, but the story is pretty simple by mythological standards. Also, bear in mind that this is only one version of this myth, and the timeline of events in the story is highly variable from version to version. So, sorry if you know a different one and think I'm wrong. Feel free to complain about it in the comments. So, Osiris, right? He's the main god of the Egyptian pantheon, oldest son of the sky goddess Nut, and he's married to his sister Isis. Don't worry, that's fine. All the cool pharaohs do it. Similarly,
married to his sister?
Set is married to their sister Nephthys. So Osiris rules Egypt as the first pharaoh, and is basically the best dude ever. But Set catches a big old case of the Claudiuses and decides to murder him and take his place as pharaoh. So Set hosts a big party for Osiris, and when everyone's good and drunk, he whips out a big fancy sarcophagus and says he'll give it to whoever fits inside it the best. Wow.
Oh no.
Okay, sorry, Osiris, but at this point you kind of deserve this.
That
so
sounds...
Osiris gets sarcophagus to death, unsurprisingly, and tossed down the Nile. While
He got in it?
An omen of things to come and runs away with her infant son.
No!
Of them get a similar treatment. So Isis starts trying to track down Osiris's corpse to give him a proper burial, but this proves unnecessarily complex because somewhere along the line, Set decided to tear Osiris's body into 14 pieces to make things even more difficult for everybody. So Isis and Nephthys, who decided her husband's kind of an asshole, managed to reconstitute Osiris little by little, inventing the mummification process as they do. But unfortunately, Osiris ends up missing a very important piece.
Oh my god.
Replacement, and as a result, Osiris is resurrected. Sort of. Unfortunately, although
missing
he's
a piece?
sort of alive, he's stuck being the lord of the underworld since he's still technically kind of dead. But it's still a pretty sweet gig, and the Egyptian underworld is basically like being alive anyway. And then later, Horus grows up to be a big old badass, and he and Set have an awesome fight and he kicks ass. Important organs are lost on all sides.
That's crazy.
So in Japanese mythology, Japan had two creator gods, Izanagi and Izanami. They married and created an island together and started cranking out more gods.
Unagi and Nunami.
Izanagi and Izanami have a ton of kids, but unfortunately, one of the kids turns out to be a little too hot to handle.
Hellion?
Really warms the heart. Really lights up my life.
Little Hellion.
Definitely radiant. Izanagi, I'm dying. What? But I'm just warming up. Izanagi? Wow, come on. Where's the fun? So anyway, yeah, Izanami is horribly burned as a result of giving birth to Kagutsuchi, the fire god, and ends up dying. This understandably sucks, but Izanami is a god.
Oh, the fire god? Imagine the fire god coming out of that. Oh! I seen both my sons born. It's bad enough when it's a normal kid, but can you believe a fire god? That's a burning bush. You like that joke, burning bush?
God, and just goes down to Yomi, the underworld, to get her back. So he pops down to Yomi, and Izanami tells him she'll try and figure something out with the gods of Yomi, but he has to not look at her in the meantime, at least not until she figures something out. Izanagi's like, sorry, what's that? It's too dark in here, I can't hear a thing. And immediately busts out a torch, whereupon Izanami's all corpseified and gross. So Izanami's pissed he didn't listen to her and sends a bunch of monsters after her in retribution.
Should have kept the light out.
To the underworld with a huge boulder, and they break off their marriage. Till death do us part, am I right? Now, there are two traditional Greek myths about the underworld, and let's face it, you probably already know both of them. But whatever, let's talk about them anyway.
Let's do it.
The first and better known one is the story of Hades and Persephone, and that one boils down to Hades is lonely and kidnaps Persephone to be his wife. Persephone's mom Demeter objects and refuses to let anything grow until she's returned. Something something pomegranate, something something 6 months of winter. It's a little bit like the Osiris thing, where Persephone becomes a goddess of the underworld because by eating the food of the dead, she becomes something of the dead. She didn't actually die, but the concept is the same. Now, I really only like this story.
So she's dead undead?
Interpretation where Persephone has a modicum of agency in the story and actually likes Hades, willingly becoming the queen of the underworld rather than just being kidnapped and getting the munchies. But forget all that, because now let's talk about Orpheus and Eurydice. So Orpheus is one of Apollo's kids, and he's a damn good musician, as you would expect if someone were the god of music. In fact, he's the best musician in the world, and to top off this perfection, he's in love with this really cute girl named Eurydice, and they're about to get married. But unfortunately, shenanigans happen, and Eurydice ends up getting bitten by a snake and dying. Orpheus is totally heartbroken, starts playing his little guitar, which has the result of bumming everyone else out too. So eventually Apollo's like, I can't take it anymore.
His music depresses everybody.
Get some damn closure before you make all the rest of us suicidal. So Orpheus meanders sorrowfully down to the underworld and serenades Hades and Persephone.
Can he get out?
And of course, his music is so beautiful that they're immediately moved to help him. Hades agrees to return Eurydice to life, but while Orpheus is leading her out of the underworld, he absolutely cannot look at her until they get to the surface. Otherwise, she'll have to go back, this time for good. It's kind of like the...
Did he look?
So Orpheus starts
He's gonna look
out of the underworld, but he can't hear her footsteps.
Oh no, don't!
Tricked him. So, like an idiot, he turns around and sees that, yep, guess what? His beloved Eurydice was behind him all along. along, and yep, he has officially ruined everything. So Orpheus is heartbroken again, and somehow ends up dead. But don't worry, the muses decide to hang on to his severed head so that he'll be able to sing forever. That's more up than I remember.
That sounds horrible. So what's the moral of the story? Let's not be one of these mythological gods. Especially the underworld. Bad things happen. Death, and more death. And you might be married to your sister. That's what I learned. Or you might get bit by a snake. Or you might get put in a coffin, chopped up in like 14 pieces and missing a vital piece. Whatever that might be. Yeah, I don't want to be any of this. But what do you think about this, guys? I want your comments. What do you think about all these mythological gods and the underworld that supports them? What do you think? I want to know your opinion. I want to comment back, so do that. Comment down below. I'm going to link their video down below. Check it out. It's a great channel. They deserve way more subscribers than what they got, so if you're an MRA member and you like this type of stuff, go check their content out. I highly recommend it. Go do it like right now. What are you waiting on? Link some videos down below for me to react to. Hit that subscribe button. Become an MRA member. Max Reaction Army taking YouTube over one subscriber at a time. And next time you choose a reaction, choose a Max Reaction. 'Cause we're best in the world. Peace.